Hi, Julian.
Hey Sarah, how are you?
I'm really well. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Good. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me. I know you're super busy, so I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll just jump right in. So I know that you split your time in a few different cities. I'm wondering where you call home.
Oh boy, that's really hard. Where is home?
Or is it really, is it all of those cities, basusically? Because do you split
I
your time pretty equal?
think, yeah. I think all of them. It's hard to say to do one of them. I mean, when I'm going long enough, it's time to go someplace else. I'm looking forward to getting there. So,
Right, right.
if that doesn't sound like home, I don't know what does.
Gotcha. Well, it's good. You have a few options.
Exactly.
So you have a few different projects going on right now, which is no surprise. You've been in the industry for like what, 15 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Awesome. Have you always wanted to go into acting?
No, I did not. It was kind of an accidental, course correction that happened while I was in junior college at North Harris College in suburban Houston, Texas, and I saw a audition notice for a play, and I didn't know anybody, and figured there would be girls there, so I went and I auditioned for a play.
That works. So when you started your career, was there anyone or anything in particular that inspired you early on?
When I first started, I mean, you mean professionally or when I first just started acting?
Either. You can choose, yeah, whatever
I
you.
mean, yeah, early on it was a teacher by the name of Sherry Ryan White. She still works at junior college level in Texas. I think she's at a place called Tomball College right now. And she changed my life immensely. She always believed in me, definitely saw something in me that I didn't, and pushed me harder than I would have ever pushed myself. At that time in my life, nobody would have ever, if you walk into a room full of young people, would have ever picked me as anyone who would have ever, amounted to anything in their life.
Why do you say that?
It was just, I was a very kind of misdirected young man
Okay.
at that time. I just had no idea what I wanted to do. I kept going kind of from school to school, and it wasn't until I auditioned for that play that everything changed. And then I found this thing that kind of focused my drives, my energies, and passions into something that was positive.
Awesome. That's great. I love hearing that. I teach on the side college writing, so that's really cool to hear. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so let's get right to it. The full Hand of God season was released early September of this year, which people can catch exclusively on Amazon, and the cast is amazing. There's some seriously impressive star power on the show, right?
Yeah. Yes.
What's
It
it?
is incredible.
Yeah. So what's it like, working with all of those people? That's
Uh,
kind of unreal.
it's a privilege. It's fantastic. And and on many levels, it's also everybody's there. I think because for the same reason, which is they love the world that Ben Watkins has created so much that they're
Mm-hmm.
there to kind of honor and create that world, and that you kind of don't even notice. You know what I mean? Once you get over your initial, like, oh my God,
Right.
there's Dana Delaney,
Yeah.
kind of, legend of television. And so everybody just seems to right away kind of be on this track for the greater good.
Totally.
So,
You all mesh and just click really well together. So I get what you're saying. Um, Okay, so we're curious, do you have any surprising facts or little secrets about working with the Hand of God cast that your fans might be interested in? It could just be like a funny story or maybe a ritual that one of you or a group of you have before being on set or something.
I have a ritual, a new one that I am going to steal from Andre Royo, because I thought it was a brilliant idea. He got a poster framed that was a favorite poster of his, and when we were working on our last episode, he brought it to set, and he just had all of us, put an individual signature with a few words on it as something he wanted to keep from this experience and hang in his office or in his home. And I thought that was just such a great idea.
Yeah.
And just a great way to have something you can just, kind of take a glimpse at in your daily life to remind you of something. I'm not very good at marking those experiences, you just kind of keep moving, and so right. I just thought that was a great way to do that.
Yeah, totally simple, and something you'll keep forever. I love that. So, what's it like working on a show on a streaming network versus a traditional on-air TV series? There's lots of differences there in some ways, I imagine.
There is, in the sense, on one side of it, you're trying to not talk about what's going on, what's happening, storylines, a little bit more stringently than necessarily on some, regularly broadcast shows, although you're still pretty protective of those. But so there's that aspect. There's also leading up to the premiere, because if they all do come out at the same time, there's more of a, it's like a higher energy feeling, almost like, like the carnival circus came to town.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then on the other side, when it starts airing, you start, with the nature of streaming, most people, I would bet, they don't watch one episode at a time. I think people really, wait for a weekend like this weekend in New York,
yes,
and watch they'll live and watch 10 episodes or something. So that's interesting when you start getting calls from friends and loved ones. Wow, I watched half of it. I'm gonna watch the rest of it tonight. It's a different. It's the way it unfolds is very different.
Totally. Yeah, and I was so kind of a follow up to that. Why should people choose Hand of God as maybe this weekend's binge watching party show?
Because of the subject matter, because of the incredible writing and performances of the show. I think it takes a look at one man's struggle to in his quest to revive his son and get that value, that relationship back in his life. Now is somehow stepped into a struggle with faith and what faith is and what it means to him, and how imperfectly we all kind of struggle with that, and how we practice it. And so it brings all these different, shines a light on all these different aspects of how we try to conduct ourselves in a world that seems inexplicable. We try to find a way to explain it, or find meaning, or find reasons for certain things that happen to our loved ones.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's solid. Lots of solid reasons there. What about season 2? Do we have any idea when we can expect to hear about that, or if there's a season 2?
I don't.
It's kind of early on.
Yeah, I don't. But I'm sure we'll hear.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think a ton of people are. So I'd be shocked if not. Well, let me jump into Madam Secretary as well. Can you tell us a little bit about your character? I'm sure you can't say a ton yet, but...
My character is Craig Sterling. He's a national security advisor to the President of the United States, which is played by Keith Carradine. And, I come on this season as a special advisor to him. And, what I can say is that it's it's possible and highly likely that I will be in kind of direct conflict and sometimes opposition to Leone's character, Elizabeth McCord.
Okay. Yeah, that's I've read a bit and I've been trying to figure out as much as I can, but I'll have to wait, I guess. So I know that, once you're in the role and you're acting, like you said about Hand of God cast, you're just in it, everyone's in it together. But what about working with Téa Leoni? What's that like? She's amazing.
I think you just said it. She's amazing. She's hilarious. She's so funny. First of all, I wasn't. I was expecting that because I know that she knows how to be funny.
Right.
She, her first show, Flying Blind. I remember this was way back in the day when Fox was a brand new network. I remember watching that show. I was like, oh my God, this woman is a comedic genius. She's just so generous, patient, and sets the tone on the set. And she's just a pleasure to work with. And I think everybody else is just so appreciative of that fact. It just creates for a fantastic work environment.
Very cool. I want to also make sure we get to being Mary Jane as well. Your character, Gael, was introduced during season 2 as Kara's love interest. Can you tell us anything at all about what we maybe can expect with the relationship? Again, I'm sure you can only say so much, but we want to know what happens on season 3.
I think you can expect anything and everything.
Oh, that is not helpful, but but I'll take it. Okay. And that premieres October 20th, I believe, right? About that.
Being Mary Jane?
Yeah.
I thought it was, for some reason, I thought it was January.
I'll look into it. I could be wrong.
Not in January.
In 2016, yeah. I've seen a few dates for it, so I'll need to look into that more. And so just let's jump into more just stuff about you. We know you enjoy fishing, scuba diving. Do you have any favorite fishing or scuba diving spots? Places you love to go?
Yes. Down in Isla Brada, actually, a couple of weeks ago, believe it or not, went out with a couple of buddies, and we bagged ourselves a 400-pound swordfish, which
oh my gosh,
was insane. It made the local Keys newspapers. It was phenomenal.
That's awesome.
So that's normally where me and my wife were at it. We're not in New York or Los Angeles. We're down in the Florida Keys.
Okay.
That's where we do most of that.
Very cool. And I have to ask about the scholarship you started. Can you, which is amazing. Can you tell us a bit about that? I know you're humble, but what inspired you to start that?
A couple of things. First of all, my frustration with constantly reading about the economic situation in Puerto Rico and, feeling powerless to do anything about it, and trying to come up with a way, however small, that I could do something to have any kind of impact. My paternal grandmother was a teacher in this small town, and just kind of thinking about it and coming up with a way, that came into my head as an idea, and so I went to the school one day with one of my dad's friends who still lives in that small town, and the principal was gracious enough to take a meeting with us, and I kind of explained to her what I wanted to do, and she was just so accommodating and giving me the opportunity to be of service. And that's kind of how it all started. It was, an afternoon meeting with the principal of a high school, and we just did our first year. And so, the idea or the goal is to just increase the funding every single year.
Awesome.
Just kind of do whatever it is one can do on whatever level to impact other people's lives.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. Curious about any new projects you have that might be coming up. I heard something about the Portrait Secret. Is that?
Yeah, it's a Spanish language film. It's kind of still in development, pre-production.
Okay.
How NCIS LA airs in a few weeks. It's a great guest star I just did on that, and then continuing on Madam Secretary.
Awesome. And one last question that I think our social media followers would love to know is if you could guest star on any new show that you haven't been on before, or a repeat role on any show, what might it be?
A new show, Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
Repeat show, Dirt.
Okay, perfect. And then where can people find you on social media?
The Julian Acosta.
Awesome. Twitter, right?
Yep.
Perfect.
Twitter's, Instagram, Facebook.
Perfect. And well, thank you so much. This is super helpful, Julian. I'm super amped for our followers to read all about this, and for hopefully your Twitter followers too. And it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Have a great evening.
You too.
Okay. Bye.